Hey everybody, this is Way to Fail with another Scrolls Let's Play, where you can see today I'm playing against Khymera. This is a game that came from a challenge match. I was watching his stream, which I'll put a link in the description, and he said, hey, does anyone want to play a game? And he graciously accepted my challenge. So after a few connection issues, we finally got to play a game. So any opportunity you have to take on a top player, and you can see Khymera is ranked 41 at the time. I think he actually cracked the top 40 by the end of the night here, but any chance you have to take on a top player, do it. You can only improve even if you get your ass handed to you. So I have no fear. I'm going into this with a slightly tweaked deck from before. I switched out some of my order splash, otherwise the deck's relatively the same. But let's go ahead and get this game started. It's going to be my growth deck versus his order deck, and I am once again, kind of like with my match with Darkblade before, I have cards. I'm saying that because I'm excited to see that I can see my cards, because I had problems before with connecting and getting everything bugged and not visual. So right now, I do have some cards I can work with straight away, and I can actually go ahead and get this started. I do sack early because I want my creatures here. I do like the Kinfolk Veteran and the Great Wolf, and we are actually on our way to playing a very, very scary order player, you could say here. I do get a Pother early. And Pother is an excellent card against Waking Stones, which is one of the banes of my existence against Order. So that is a card that I could pocket. I have a few in my deck, so I could opt to get rid of it, which I do here just because I want to go ahead and play the Brave. Playing a Brave early is great. I know he doesn't play nicely with spiky damage, but still, anything that can attack every turn, he could possibly pin it in, but still something you want to try and work with. So I do sack the Ragged Wolf, and the reason I sack the Ragged Wolf there is that his 1 damage is not going to be as effective as maybe some other things. I mean, I'd rather have these 3 cards, especially when I can play the Brother next turn to protect this poor little Brave. He's not that little, he has beefy arms. But there's the Spearman, that's what I was talking about with spiky damage, so I'm going to be forced to move this guy to make it work. But I do get a Vetter of the Wild, and I could play him and try and ramp up. And I do actually, it kind of pains me to do it, I do sack the Great Wolf. At this point, the Veteran, the Brother of the Wolf, they're higher priority cards. So I can play the Brother, or I can play the Vetter and just hope for the best and try and ramp up. And that's what I do. I go ahead and decide I'm going to tuck on and hold on to this Brother of the Wolf. He probably doesn't have something that can kill this guy unless he double Kabonks, which is dying anyway. So he does 1 Kabonk and takes out the Vetter, so there goes my ramping hopes and dreams. And I get 2 Kinfolk Veterans. So right now I have something that I can go ahead and defend my forces with. I do sack the Brother of the Wolf because Kinfolk Veterans are one of my crutch cards for taking out spiky units. Yes, they do take 2 damage, but you know what? I'm able to clear his board. My guy's able to attack again without a threat of it being in danger. So we do get the Ducal Skirmisher from Khymera on the other side. And what's interesting to me is that Khymera really, really likes to take control of the middle of the board from what I've seen. And at this point, it looks like he's either trying to draw me down or he's just kind of conceding the area. But what you got to watch out for, at least with him and other players, is that he could very easily flip me. He likes to use flip a lot just to move problem cards to wherever he wants to. So I ditched the Fertile Soil, and I would have loved to use it on the Sister of the Fox. But I still have the Transposition in my deck, so maybe I'm not using the new deck I thought it was. So I elect actually to drop my 2nd Kinfolk Veteran. Better to have this guy at 1 health than 4. So I'm just currently continuing to try and be aggressive, and there's the flip that I was expecting. And Blessing of Haste and Focus. So like I said, I can try and tuck this guy as much as I want, but if he wants to kill it, he's going to kill it. And he uses all of his energy to take out 2 of my cards. So very painful. I mean, he's putting this guy in a position where he's going to die next turn, but I can see why he would accept the 2-for-1 trade there. Now, and I compliment him on his flip play. But I do take out the Sister of the Fox, and I get a God Hand. Do I elect to hold on to the God Hand this time? Let's see if I learned from my mistakes last time. But I'm going to play the Druid Burial Ground just to try and get some healing on this Veteran any day now. There we go. But I do elect to take this guy out. I have a God Hand in hand. I should really hold on to it if I want to be a better human being in Scrolls. But for now, we get a Royal Skirmisher, who could definitely lay waste to some stuff. Lay waste to stuff. And there's the Kabonka, my sister. So Kinfolk Brave is good. Oh, I get rid of the God Hand again. I'm not learning from my mistakes. But maybe at this point it's a little better because it does let me get some cards out. I could play both Vetters and a Kinfolk Brave. I do have 2 other God Hands in my hand, so it is likely, or in my deck, so it is likely that I'll see more. But there's the Brave, there's the Vetter, there's the other Vetter. For me, I guess at this point it's just better for me to get creatures out. So I do want to hide these guys behind the wall, just because I don't, unless he's playing new orders, then he can just do whatever he wants. There's the Pother. I assume he was hoping to move him up to do another haste play, but there's also the possibility of draw there. And a Fertile Soil is good for me. I can Fertile... Oh, but actually, it's interesting. I could have Fertile Soiled one of my Vetters, but I'm electing to keep the ramp here, and it may have been the better decision at this point, because I can play a Great Wolf and a Druid Burial Ground. Yes, I'm top decking at this point, but you know what? What are you going to do? If I have stuff that I can play, that was a very fortunate draw on my end, and he's going to have to work really hard to break through some of these forces. So I do tuck my units back behind here. I am vulnerable to Decimation right now, and that is a card that I've seen him run with. But even if I'm vulnerable to Decimation, I've got to like the position that I'm in. And you can see he's moving his units. That tells me he's going to decimate, but no, he does Imperial Resources instead, which is kind of a tough spot for Khymera to be in, because a lot of Order players, once they get to this position, want to use Imperial Resources again and again and again, and kind of move towards the late game with a lot of resources, with a lot of cards. But right now I have a lot of stuff on the deck, or a lot of stuff on the board. So even though I'm top decking, I still have pretty decent board control, but it's going to come down to what cards I get. Ancestral Totem, decent. I could get another Burial Ground out. And I have a Purification, which is not as great against Order, but at least I can play something. And now I have 3 walls, and I do kill my Vetter because I'm an idiot. So I say shit, because I could have kept the Vetter up there and let him do 1 idle damage. But you know what? Looking back, that Vetter was going to die anyway, so better to do 1 damage and kill himself to the spiky guy, because he could have just moved him up pretty easily. There's the pushback. So apparently it's Burial Ground Knight. I'm not sure what I mean there, but there is 2 Spearmen. So he's really trying to protect this one guy, and maybe he'll be able to. But right now I have Purification, and I get a Kinfolk Jarl as well. So definitely got some good stuff to play with. So the question is, am I going to Jarl it, or am I going to Great Wolf it? And that is going to be one of the key choices here, because I really don't want this guy wrecking havoc, and I do decide to play the Jarl, because his Relentlessness is good, and he does have the health pool to bust through both of these guys if needed. So there's a Pother, which just goes ahead and drops this guy down. Can he actually kill my Brave? He does a... Okay, that's interesting. He does a pushback on the Druid Burial Ground. Sort of expose the middle here. Can he kill my Jarl this turn? He has 1 Order left, so I'm not sure if he can. He puts another Infantryman, and he does 4 damage, but this guy's going to get healed too immediately at the beginning of the turn. And yeah, that's just... He wanted to go ahead and punch through, but any adjacent unit's going to get healed by every Burial Ground that's there. So, interesting play. I could play the Great Wolf or the Burial Ground, but my Jarl is feeling a little vulnerable, so I elect to play, why not just 1, when I can play Great Wolf, more than likely. I'm going to go ahead and start trying to pressure the top of his board as well. So I do put the Great Wolf down there as... Once again, my Vetter this time not getting killed by spiky damage. And I do have a Ragged Wolf and a Pother if needed. I haven't even had to use my Order Splash so far this game, but he does... Okay, that's interesting, because he does decide to go ahead and move down here and try and... He's putting his units in a row to try and stop that middle place, and that's why, because he has a Vanguard he can play. And he has a speed as well, so he's going to do a ton of damage to my units. Well, not as much of a ton, but he does decide to speed just to take something out. In this case, the Veteran, because he's really trying to protect this. Right now, this idol's exposed, and it is possible for me, just looking from him, if I had some kind of God Hand and could sack for 1 more resource, I could possibly win. But what happened to my God Hand? I discarded it. So what else is new? As there is another interesting part, the Druid Burial Ground getting healed by the Druid Burial Ground, which is something Khymera told me he had forgotten about after this game. So just like I said, it's even with top-rated players, not everybody plays perfect. You don't have to play flawlessly to be a top player in this game. But getting a Great Wolf and a Mangy Wolf is an awesome position to be in at this point, because I can just go ahead and play my Mangy down here. This guy's going to get hurt, but I could do even more idle damage down here. So I'm going to take out 1 idle. I do play a Ragged Wolf up top, because otherwise the spiky damage will hurt him. And I can't take out everybody, but I can weaken that guy significantly. So now he has 2 idols that are both damaged, and he can focus and possibly clear my board. But right now it's just really going to boil down to he's committing all of his defenses to the bottom. And what I have left is just the possibility of moving up top. And what do I get? I get a Kinfolk Veteran, I get a Rallying. Great cards to hold on to. I could possibly... I can't quite kill this idol, but I can get damn close. Actually, you know what? I'm totally mistaken. Because the Kinfolk Jarl, don't forget, +1 attack for every unit around there. So all I need to do is to surround him with units and possibly rally. And that is maybe one of the clutchest, accidental or purposeful, because this game was very late at night for me, plays that I can make. Because I could play the Sister of the Fox, and I can play a Rallying. And that would actually give me enough, because I can make him do 6 damage, Sister of the Fox, 7, and all I need to do is rally. And I rally. All right, GG. I actually made the right play for once. So, Khymera is a fantastic player, and definitely far better, far more consistently better than me. But you know what? I was able to take one from him by playing very aggressively, baiting or getting his units to commit to the bottom on defense, and buffing my Jarl to get to the top. So I know this is a shorter episode, but you know what? It's not every time you get to record and say, hey, I beat a high-quality player. So I hope you all enjoyed that. This is Way to Fail with Another Scrolls Let's Play. And Khymera, very good player, very friendly guy, great channel. I really recommend that you check it out on Twitch. But otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.